Welcome back. Let's quickly take you through some of the pictures you sent into our eyewitness portal at this time on the news at 10. And first is this one from Jos in Plateau State, showing a dilapidated building our eyewitness reporter says is being used for a clinic. He wants the government to look into this. And the next one is from Burundin Kebbi in Kebbi State, showing a long queue of petrol. Our eyewitness reporter says that fuel scarcity is still rife in the state. We also have this one from Osogbo in Osun State, showing a gully erosion. Our eyewitness reporter wants the authorities to look into this. And this one is from Lekki in Lagos State, showing a fuel truck being pushed on the road to kickstart it. Our eyewitness reporter says this is not appropriate for a fuel tanker. And finally is this one from Lagos Island in Lagos State, showing a bad road. Our eyewitness reporter says this needs some attention. We do sincerely thank you so much indeed for sending in those pictures, as we ask that you keep them coming. And time to switch another gear as we take you to sports news with Ayotunde Balogun.
Many thanks, Gimba. Nigeria took one step closer to booking a place in this year's FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup with an emphatic 6-0 victory over South Africa at the Abuja National Stadium. The encounter, which was the first leg of the final round of qualifiers, was brought to life in the 3rd minute from a goal from Fajobi Yetunde. Captain Rashida Tajibade put 4 goals past the South African goalkeeper, while Yetunde added another goal to make it 6-0. The second leg will take place in 2 weeks at the Makulong Stadium in Tembisa. The Flamingos have never failed to qualify for the tournament since it began in 2008.
Anytime you want to play a team, you have to respect the team. You give that team respect. It is at the end of 90 minutes that you know who is who. So definitely, before the beginning of the game, you wouldn't begin to count how many number of goals you can score. You first of all look at your opponent and give them some respect. Then until at the end of the game, you'll be able to know at least you have done what you expected to do. So at least from the start of the first half, I told the players we have to look for good number of goals in the first half because they can come back in the second half and rubbish the game.
I think now because of the girls have the feel of the international level because of it's their first game that they played since they were together. So I think back home they know what to expect and know the intensity of the game. I mean, honestly speaking, we had them. It's just that we gave them only silly mistakes that we made. I mean, it's just our mistake that they made. They scored the goal.
Africa's new top-ranked football nation, Cape Verde, officially confirmed Felisberto Cardoso as their new coach. Cardoso, better known as Beto, had been named acting coach in January after the departure of the Portuguese Rui Aguas. Aguas took Cape Verde to the last Nations Cup finals in Equatorial Guinea, where they were eliminated after the opening group phase, despite not losing a game. Jimmy Barros and Bassano were also named as the team's new assistants. In the FA Cup, Everton secured passage into the semi-final after a 2-0 victory over Chelsea. Romelu Lukaku netted a superb brace to send the Toffees into the semi-final and eliminate his former club, who saw their last hope of winning silverware extinguished at Goodison Park. The Blues were knocked out of the UEFA Champions League by Paris Saint-Germain on Wednesday, and they lost the only opportunity to salvage an underwhelming season. Chelsea's miserable week ended with a Diego Costa red card at Goodison Park. A Russian tennis star Maria Sharapova denies being warned 5 times about the impending ban on meldonium and says she will fight back after criticizing elements of the media who distort, exaggerate and fail to accurately report the facts. Sharapova, who faces a suspension of up to 4 years, claims the communication from tennis authorities about changes to drugs on the ban list were too hard to find. However, the 28-year-old, who admitted on Monday to taking the illegal substance, insists that she will make no excuses for not knowing about the ban, which came into effect on January the 1st. And Jonathan Rea had a battle with Kawasaki teammate Tom Sykes to win race 1 of the Thailand World Superbike Round. Rea won both races in the opening Australia round of the 14-meeting series, but the Northern Ireland rider found his bike difficult to race around the Chang International Track in Buriram, northeast of Bangkok. Dutch rider Michael van der Mark started from pole position, but then faltered from the line, allowing the Kawasaki's of Rea and Tom Sykes to pass him on the run to the first corner. And that's a wrap in sports news. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The news at 10 continues shortly.
US President Barack Obama has warned White House contenders to avoid raising tensions a day after a rally by Donald Trump was called off amid clashes. President Obama advised that candidates should not resort to insults and certainly not violence against other Americans. Mr. Trump, who leads the race for the Republican nomination, cancelled his Chicago rally after fighting broke out between his supporters and protesters. His rivals, U.S. Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, on Saturday, March the 12th, condemned the recent incident of violence at rallies for GOP front, saying that Trump's fiery rhetoric has helped to increase the tense atmosphere that is now sweeping the race for the White House. Trump's rivals for the Republican nomination, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, have both called the incident sad. The Italian Coast Guard says that it has rescued 12 migrants believed to be Pakistani origin from a small rubber dinghy off the Greek island of Kos. The Coast Guard is operating in the agency as part of the European Union's border force, Frontex. Greece has been the main entry point into Europe for more than 1 million refugees and migrants since last year. More than 130,000 people have arrived in Europe this year alone, stretching the country's limited resources.
Greek authorities are struggling to convince thousands of people cramped in the waterlogged fields that the main passage to the rich, wealthy northern Europe is closed. Efforts to move them to reception camps set up across Greece have proved difficult. The government has prepared 20 centres so far, with capacities to shelter some 30,000 people, and aims to up the number by next week. Although no one has crossed over to Macedonia this week, the migrants have refused to leave the border area, fearing the situation might change when EU leaders meet with Turkey on March the 17th to work out the details of a return plan for the migrants. On Saturday morning, men, women and children stand in line to try and get a pair of dry shoes and socks. Aid agencies and volunteer organizations say there's a shortage of blankets, tents, firewood and medicine. Over 40,000 people have been stranded in Greece since Austria and other states en route to Germany began closing their borders, barring access to migrants who were hoping to follow more than 1 million others who have reached Europe last year.
And the main news again. Political tension in Rivers State is heating up once again ahead of the rerun elections in the state. The two leading parties in the state, the All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party, have started trading blames over recent killings in the state, as well as their chances in the elections. And that's how it's been on the news at 10 tonight. I want to thank you so much indeed for watching. On behalf of everyone here, have a splendid night rest. Good night.